Okay, so this is the fourth section. So it says for number 28 on your review, it says find the x-intercepts of the following using the quadratic formula and list the number of natural roots. Number and nature of the roots, not natural, sorry. So I have x squared minus 6x equals negative 2. So for this one, you guys remember your formula is x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So your a is going to be the leading coefficient for x squared, your b is going to be the leading coefficient for x, and c is your c value, which is just the number without the variable, but it has to be in standard form. So it looks like this. So I need to make this guy look like standard form. So I'm going to move this 2 over, so I get x squared minus 6x plus 2 equals 0. So my a is 1, my b is negative 6, and my c is 2. So what I'm going to do now is just plug it into my handy dandy formula. X equals negative b, so negative negative 6 is the opposite, would be 6. Plus or minus square root, negative 6 squared, that's your b, would be 36. Minus 4, your a is 1, and your c is 2. All over 2 times a, just like this. So then I have 6 plus or minus. Alright, so let me just go ahead and simplify what's under the square root first. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 1 is 8. So this will be 36 minus 8. And then 36 minus 8 is 28. So now I'm going to go ahead and plug that guy right here. And it's positive. And then it's all over 2 times 1 is 2. Now because my discriminant right now, this is your discriminant, the number underneath the square root, because it's a positive number, I know that I'm going to have 2 real solutions, or 2 real roots. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify the square root of 28. Right now, I'm going to break it down. So 28, I can divide it by 7. So I have 7 and 4. And then 7's prime, so I'm going to circle it. And this is 2 and 2. I have a pair of 2's, so I'm going to rewrite the square root of 28 as 6 plus or minus 2 root 7. The pairs come out, the single guy stays in. And you only write it once, divided by 2. Now, the last thing you want to do is you want to make sure that to check if you can simplify. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a I heart math, math hearts me, doing my math correctly, da da da, da da da, da 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 da. So basically I just separated. I said 6 divided by 2, plus or minus stays, and then 2 root 7 divided by 2. That's how I'm going to check if I can simplify. So I make like a little heart. So right here I'm going to see if I can reduce or cancel within its own little fraction. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 2 divided by 2, I can cancel these guys out. And you get the square root of 7. You cannot cancel what's underneath the square root. This is 2 real solutions. That is your final answer. Alright, let's go to number 32. So I have x squared minus 10x plus 34 equals 0. So same thing, a is 1, b is negative 10, c is 34. So I have x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So plug in what I know. The opposite of b would be positive 10, because a negative times a negative is a positive. B squared, so negative 10 times negative 10 is 100. minus 4ac all over 2a. 2 times 1. A is 1. Alright, so just simplify a little further. I have 10 plus or minus. Underneath the square root, I have 34 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13, so I get 136. So it's 100 minus 136. So 100 minus 36 is negative 36. And then all over 2. Now here I'm going to go ahead and simplify the square root of negative 36 to the side. I can break that up to be the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 36. Now the square root of negative 1 is I. The square root of 36 is plus or minus 6. But here's the deal, plus or minus is already there, so we're good. So this becomes 10 plus or minus 6i all over 2. And then I'm going to do a quick I heart math. Math hearts me. Doing my math correctly. Da 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 da. So now I'm going to simplify. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So you get 5 plus 3i as your solutions. And this is 2 imaginary roots. And the reason why we got 2 imaginary roots, and I could have found that out earlier, is because we got a negative number, right? We got negative 36 underneath the square root.